2 weeks from now, I'm going to be competing in my second tournament ever at the MA3 division. This is the bag that's going to help me compete at the top. I went from playing with a regular old backpack in my first tournament to this Combat Ranger bag from Dynamic Discs. I got all of my discs that I could possibly need in this big front pocket right here. I got a spot for my water bottle, disc retriever, putter pocket right here, which is really nice when you're playing on the go. You can just grab behind you and throw your putt without even putting your bag down. Got an additional pocket right here that can be for putters, or sometimes I use it for discs I'm trying out. Big storage up here where I usually keep a towel or two, maybe some snacks. And in the side pocket here is where I keep my markers to mark my discs. And I got a Sharpie in case I need to mark anything down. So in order to build trust in my discs, now that I'm playing tournaments and I want to just improve and do as well as I can and move up in the divisions, I came up with nicknames for all of my discs. I feel like it helps me build trust with those discs. It reminds me when I'm in a tournament when to throw what disc, and it's just little mnemonic cues, and I'll go over those when I'm presenting the discs. Maybe it's something you guys want to try, or if you think there's great nicknames for my discs that I don't have, comment down below. Up first, we have my putters. These are Prodigy PA3 and 300 plastic. They're the Red Wings Centennial Edition, which is pretty cool because I'm a big hockey fan. I nicknamed them promptly Datsuk and Zetterberg. Those are my two favorite players growing up. Right now, those are my tried and true putters in the cold especially. I was putting with the Judges from Dynamic Discs. These were my first putters I ever got. They were really great. I really liked them, especially because I throw a lot more than I push putt or jump putt or anything like that. But with the cold and everything, I moved to the Prodigies and I just haven't gone back. They've just been bread and butter.
Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
For my throwing putter, I do have another Prodigy PA3. This one's in 400 plastic, so it's my true throwing putter. I don't use this one to putt. I literally just use this one off the tee or long approach shots. Really like the feel of it. It's not too stiff, especially when it gets really cold here. But I nicknamed this one Larkin, and that one is promptly named as well. Larkin is my favorite player on the Red Wings right now. Just really great discs that I have grown to love, and I can't imagine using anything else right now for putting or approach shots. Right now, I bag a lot of mid-ranges, but I feel like that's just because I'm learning a lot of new things, trying to learn how to approach different holes, woods, cold, open, and just figure out what works for me personally. And that's the biggest thing that I've taken from my first tournament, is that I'm building a bag with what works for me. Not necessarily hype discs, not necessarily discs that work for everyone, just things that I can see about myself, about my form, how hard I throw, if I can throw forehand, what I like to do for shot shapes, hyzers, whatever, overstable, understable. These are all discs that I've found success with so far, and that's why they've earned a nickname and earned a place in my bag. So starting off, we have the Innova Rock. Great disc right here. This one's nickname is Dwayne for obvious reasons. I love this disc for high arcing shots where I need some fade. I throw it a lot when we're not in the woods, when I have open holes that I need some bite at the end, but I also need some glide. If there's no wind, I always reach for this disc. This has been one of my favorite discs to just start out with and beat in, and it's got a nice hyzer flip if you put some juice into it. Up next, I got two zones that I'm currently bagging right now. Regular zone that's a little beat in, got it from a used bin, and a Zone OS. That is my main utility disc. The first zone, its nickname is Ledger. Basically, this is my safety disc. Anywhere I am, if I need the most sure shot, whether forehand or backhand, this is a great disc that I use to forehand because my forehand play isn't very great right now. So I use that quite a bit in the woods, especially when I can't use the rock. Zone OS is my main utility disc. This one got the nickname Lifeline because I scramble with this constantly every time I am in woods, behind trees, behind bushes, brush, whatever. My first tournament, I use this a lot, especially because there was a lot of headwind too. So I throw it on flex forehands, I throw it on normal forehands, like spike hyzers, everything. And I'm just positive that this is gonna stay in the bag for a long time. Next up, we have the MVP Detour. This is a very understable approach disc. This one is nicknamed Ash because of I really like the grayish color that it's got. This one I am just putting in the bag for this next tournament. I haven't used this ever besides practicing and practice rounds. It's very understable, so this is what I would imagine I would normally use this for turnover shots, backhand turnover. I'm probably not going to forehand this much, maybe just flick forehands. But I just needed something that I know is going to turn, and that's the role that this one is playing in my bag right now. Next, we have our Melitas. I am a huge fan of the Discraft Melita. It has become one of my staple discs that I use. When in doubt, I throw a Melita. Whether it's a 150 foot hole, 250 foot hole, 300 foot hole, par 4, what have you. If I need a hyzer flip that I know that is gonna go straight with just a tiny bit of fade maybe, or if I throw it flat, it's gonna go to the right and turn out, then that's what I use. I've got 3 main ones that I use right now that are currently in the bag. First one is this super light Melita. The nickname's Glacier. I really like the silver stamp with the blue pattern. This one is my Tailwind Melita. This thing will go and go forever. It's only 164 grams. So I only use this if there's no headwind, no wind at all. This is a great just max distance mid-range. Next up, we have the Paul Macbeth stamp prototype mid-range Melita. This one is nicknamed Evergreen. I really like the orange sunset with it's got a green sparkle stamp on it. This is like my main Melita that I use. It's right in the middle at about 170 grams. And this is a very good woods disc. You can use it anywhere. Nice hyzer flip on this one too. I can put a little bit more beef into this and it won't turn over. But yeah, that's my main one that I reach for. Then we have the first Melita I ever got. This one is Stone Fruit because it's so steady and it's got a nice peachy color. It's got a really cool blue like galaxy stamp on the middle too. This one was actually, I named it the MVP of my first tournament. I used this disc pretty much every hole, almost every hole it seemed, especially any holes that were within that 200 feet or the short par 3s that were there. If I am ever in doubt, I reach for this disc. I know exactly what it's gonna do. I feel so confident, so comfortable with it. So this is the one that I love the most. Next, we have the only non-Melita besides the Detour in my mid-range repertoire. That is the Supreme EMAC Truth. This disc I haven't used. I've recently found it and I've been really loving it as a stable to overstable mid-range. This one's definitely more stable than the Melitas. It's also way bigger. The Melitas are really small in diameter. The Truth is like noticeably bigger. But this one I use if it's a headwind. It's same comfortability as the Melita for me. I really like the rim on this. It is beaded, it's got a micro bead. But this one is nicknamed Purple Rain, just because it's so steady like the rain and it's purple like purple rain. Next we have my fairway drivers. Right now there's just the 3 of them. Up first we have the MVP Inertia in plasma plastic. For anyone who has never thrown an Inertia, this is a fantastic hyzer flip beginning disc. This one is only 157 grams. It's kind of tiny. I don't have the biggest hands, so maybe it would feel more uncomfortable in someone who has bigger hands. But I don't have the greatest form or arm speed yet, and I can get this thing to hyzer flip no problem. This is one of my favorite discs to throw on a nice open straightaway hole. It's just so fun to see the flight path on this guy. Love this blue plasma plastic as well. This one's nickname is Blue Note because it's so smooth, and I really recommend this disc for any beginners who are struggling to hyzer flip or throw straight shots or turning shots. This is a great beginner disc. Following that up, I have another utility disc that I love so much, especially in this Michigan winter. It is a Raptor and ESP8 Flex plastic. This one is pinky. This is my Pinkster. I love this disc so much. It's gotten me out of so much trouble. It's so nice when you're on a super cold day in the snow in Michigan playing a tournament and you have to have a nice forehand. This thing just feels so good. You have so great grip. For a learning forehand player like myself, I love this disc so much. I throw it a lot, but this is one of my favorite discs as well. This has gotten me out of a lot of trouble. Next up, we have the MVP Trail. This is a very popular disc. It's nothing new. This one I call the Compass because it is a very straight point and shoot driver. This isn't a max distance disc for me necessarily. It does have plenty of glide and it doesn't turn and it doesn't fade. I use this disc a lot if I am just in a pinch. Maybe I don't know the course as well and I just need to hit a certain distance. This is what I reach for. I know it's not going to turn. I know it's not going to flip. Just a very stable disc that I really love so far. One of the great things about being an amateur who's unsponsored is I can throw any disc I want at any time from any company, and whether it's Axiom, MVP, Innova, Discraft, whatever, I don't have to stick with one brand. There are so many discs that I love so much that I don't know what I would do without. So I'm just really enjoying being able to throw whatever disc I want for any reason. So next are my distance drivers. You'll see some pretty heavy themes here. The first one we have is the Axiom Disc Vanish, which Axiom is owned by MVP if you didn't know. Great, love this color scheme, this kind of teal on maroon. It's the Axiom Vanish. This is my max distance disc, most likely. This one I nicknamed Dirk after Dirk Nowitzki because it fades away really hard. This one I use anytime I need distance and there's no headwind. This thing flips like crazy. You can get really, really nice shot shapes out of this. Really long turning flights. You can use it as a roller if you want. This Vanish has been a staple for my bag. When it warms up, this thing is gonna get a ton of use for me. Up next are my three Innova Wraiths. First one, this yellow one, this Pro Wraith, nicknamed Old Yeller. I got this disc, one of my first discs back in 2016. Didn't start playing until recently, and I have learned to love this disc. It's a little bit flippier since it's older. It's that nice Pro plastic. I love the vintage look and feel. This one I might have to retire early because I do not want to lose this, and this is a really cool talking piece in my collection. Next up we have the Star Wraith. This white one I love a lot, love the white on red. This is like my main distance driver. I usually reach for this. It's a little bit beefier than the Pro Wraith, but a little bit more understable than the Halo Wraith, which I have next. This one's nickname is Ghost. I just love the white. It's very tough to find in the snow. I found that out many times. So I am a little bit more careful of when I use it, but I would say this is my primary distance driver that I throw. I just love the Wraith so much. Next up we have that Halo Wraith that I was talking about. This one's nickname is Maul after Darth Maul. I'm a big Star Wars fan and this is red on black. That's the first thing I thought of. But this is also a staple in my bag. If it's headwinds, if it's cold, if it's windy, I am reaching for this over any of my other drivers because I know exactly what it's gonna do. I don't have the arm speed yet to turn it over. I can flip it a little bit. It doesn't quite get to flat. It always comes out and it always has this really nice long fade that if I put out like 100 feet to the right, I know it's gonna come right back to where I'm trying to hit for the basket. So I never aim at the basket with these because it's always gonna go miles left. And the Halo plastic skips really well. So Knowing that it's gonna have that same flight path every time, this has been a really great disc for me when I need some kind of turning shot. Up next are my only 12 speeds. 12 is the highest I go in my bag. I have the Discraft Hades with this nice green plastic, and then it has a money stamp on it where there's a bunch of different bills in the stamp, which I thought was really cool. Kind of hard to see, but I'll get a close-up for you guys. This one is nicknamed Cash because of that. This is another one where it's kind of a learning disc for me, just as the Vanish I use to hyzer flip and get max distance out of. Once I get the proper mechanics and form and arm speed, I will be using this 12 speed instead. It's got a ton of glide, six glide, same turn as the Vanish, but this one I'm kind of growing into, if you will. I'll probably, once I get the correct mechanics and arm speed, I will use this more instead of the Vanish. But super great disc, love this disc. Great beginning disc as well. Speaking of beginning discs, I don't see many people bagging this, but this is something that I've grown to really love in my bag, especially as I said, I'm a learning forehand player. I have a lot of torque in my forehands. So a lot of these discs will turn over very fast in a forehand for me, and I don't have a great forehand form yet, but this force will never turn over. I really love this Discraft force. It's more stable than the Zero stability would suggest. This one I named Thorn for any of the Aragon series fans out there. It's red and gold, and that was one of my favorite dragons from the book. But I use this thing anytime there's wind, anytime I need something that I know is not going to turn over. It's a 12 speed, so I'm never going to put enough torque into this thing where it's going to turn over, and I use it on the forehand a lot. And that's what's currently in my bag for this next tournament coming up. If you want to see how these discs fly and how I do in that tournament, that video will be up in a few weeks once I complete that. But if you guys have ever named any of your discs, let me know. I would love to hear all of the fun names you guys have come up with. But you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you in the next one.